Welcome, everybody, to the One Pride Podcast. We talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and we got a good one for you folks today. Free agency begins the tampering period on Monday, and so this is the last live stream until then, which will be obviously doing videos on who the Detroit Lions are going to be getting in free agency. And there's a couple rumors floating out there. One that happened about an hour before it went live. I really want to talk about it. It's extremely interesting, so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into potential trade that could be occurring and what to expect in free agency starting on Monday. But if you've not hit that like button, go ahead and smash that like button right now. Really easy to do so. There's 40 of you in the building. There's 11 likes. Let's get up to 40 likes. Appreciate everybody coming in here. James Janella became a member. Appreciate you, my brother. Taylor Alexis Janella, what's up? Shift and 9 Drinks. Welcome. We got Chrome, Lisa Del Lorenzo in the building, Alan Dana, Paul Levine. Appreciate everybody, and 313 Close. What's up, man? Appreciate everybody coming in here. So I'm a little bit of a cold, so you're not going to notice a lot of energy in me, but I'm feeling pretty good. It's just my voice and kind of my head, so it's that weather. Now, if you live in Michigan, you notice it was hot, cold, and it just screwed everybody up. So I'm getting my part right now, but we're definitely going to get through it. I don't feel horrible or anything, just a little bit congested. Rumor right before, basically I went live, about an hour and a half before. I got an article there. The Detroit Lions tried to trade for Danielle Hunter before the NFL trade deadline. At the NFL trade deadline, Danielle Hunter didn't want to get traded from Minnesota. So the Lions tried getting him. So that's very interesting because if they tried to get him, obviously, during the trade deadline, you fully expect that they're going to probably try still acquire him in free agency here. And he's been my number one target. And I really didn't want to talk about him a lot because I have for so long. So I've been kind of staying away from it. But that rumor came out today from Heavy.com, and that's really intriguing. And if you can get a player of his caliber on this defensive line, I'm telling you right now, this defense will be much improved. We're so close. And if you can just get another pass rusher opposite of Aiden, it's really going to do well for the Lions and the defensively. So they tried to trade for him before the NFL trade deadline. Obviously, we trade with the Minnesota Vikings. T.J. Hawkinson, we sent him over there. We did it with the Jameson Williams trade. We traded with the Green Bay Packers to get Brian Branch. So they legit tried to trade for Danielle Hunter before the trade deadline. Now they're going to lose. Danielle Hunter is probably going to be gone in free agency, and they'll get a compensatory draft pick if that is the case. But it just shows that the Lions wanted to get him. Also, you all know about the rumors that the Detroit Lions may trade for L'Jarius Sneed, who was just tagged by Kansas City. The reason why it'd be a tag and trade is because Kansas City can't pay everybody. They're trying to get Chris Jones in there. They obviously got Patrick Mahomes' contract. So when you have all these talented players, you can't keep everybody. So the idea is to tag and trade. Now, 7 teams called on L'Jarius Sneed. It's not just the Detroit Lions. The Lions were one of them, to get him to come to Detroit. Now, according to the rumor, they're saying that it's a second-round pick could be what it would get to get a L'Jarius Sneed. Would you guys send a second-round pick for him to get Sneed on this defense? I'm not going to lie. I would actually contemplate it. And you know me, I'm really big into draft picks, especially when you have Brad Holmes as our general manager, who's absolutely amazing. The problem, though, is the odds of getting a top cornerback in the draft to be a star immediately is extremely unlikely. Okay, Sauce Gardners don't come around that much where they come into the league and they're a Devin Witherspoon or is really good. It takes a little bit of time for these guys to learn. Remember, Darius Slade took 3 years. Predominantly, it takes some time because it's a very hard position to learn, and you're going against the best receivers in the game. You know, they go from college to the NFL. It's a big difference. So it takes a little bit of an adjustment period. So if they were to get a L'Jarius Sneed, there's not going to be an adjustment. He's a veteran. He already knows all the ways around it. So he'd come in here, and he would immediately be number one. Lester says, I would. Angelo says I would. Definitely. Absolutely, James Copeland. Going to need a Decker fill in as well. Yep, absolutely. 9 Drinks. Draft an edge early on. Maybe he sure would be more ready to play than any draft pick. I would. Our second round isn't worth much. It's a low pick. Well, remember, we did get Sam Laporta in the second round. But we also got Levi and Uzurike in the second round. So it sometimes can be a hit or miss, right? I would actually do the trade for a second-round pick, and I cannot stand giving up draft picks, but to have him immediately come in and lock down that secondary, and if you were to get a guy in free agency, a pass rusher, legitimately the Detroit Lions, probably more talented than the 49ers. They should be Super Bowl favorites at that point. Your offense is outstanding. Your defense would take a significant jump just by those two players alone. It would take a significant jump. And you know how close we were to getting to the quarterback this year, but we just it didn't happen until the end of the year and in the playoffs. Man, if you can get that, it would just be so good for this team. Yes, Sneed is still young, and he's proven cornerback. Second round, no-brainer. Yeah. And, again, I'm not big into giving up draft picks, but I think I would do that here. And it's a late second-round pick. It's not going to be an early one, so I say do it. Murder Michigan says, send a second and a fifth for Sneed. If we're pick 38, probably not. Whoever says trade Goff we're not trading Jared Goff. We're not trading Jared Goff. We're not trading Hendon Hooker. And we're not trading Jamison Williams. I'm going to repeat this so everybody can listen. They're not trading Jared Goff. They're not trading Hendon Hooker. And they're not trading Jamison Williams. It's not happening. Well, Silver Surfer disagrees. Says, heck no. Keep the picks, re-sign Vildor, draft a high potential cornerback. I would re-sign Jacobs, develop Stephon Diggs, and hurry to re-sign James Houston. So he says no, and that's fine. Look, he trusts Brad Holmes' ability to draft, and you can't argue with it. Silver Surfer is correct. He's great with the draft picks, and he can find you guys some stuff. I would do the trade, but not enough cash to get both Hunter and Sneed if we are paying our own guys. Yeah, run DMG, and that's why I've been saying it's probably just one guy that they do in this free agency period that's a bigger deal, right? It's one guy. The odds of it being two seems to be extremely unlikely. And you can still, we got the draft, right? So if you decided to trade for a Sneed, you can get an edge in the draft. Or what if you're we're in free agency, we're going to get our edge and we're going to get a corner in the draft. You can do that. You can do that for sure. We got a lot of options, and I think that's what's really good about this offseason and compared to off-seasons past is we really don't have that many holes. So it's not going to take a lot, and we're the 7th best in the NFL with cap space at $52 million. So we're sitting at 7th best. We got a hell of a good roster, and we just need a handful of pieces to be probably in a Super Bowl. So they can definitely get it done this offseason. It's not going to take much. Now, I'm not going to be like Mike Valenti from 97 won the ticket and say, oh, they're cheap and they're terrible if they don't get who I want. I'm going to trust Brad Holmes, whatever decision that he makes this offseason in the draft and free agency, because Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell know exactly what they're doing. And they understand talent. And whatever decision they make, I'm fully on board with. Even if it is going against everything that I want. Even if it does not get a single person that I want in free agency or in the NFL draft, I fully support Brad Holmes because he knows what he's doing. I no longer feel like we have a dope at general manager that doesn't really understand prospects. This guy does, and he understands how to have a hell of a good football team. What's the possibility of getting Chase Young? He's a free agent. 3-3, 0%. And the why I'm saying 0% is they didn't attempt to trade for him because he lets off on plays. And if they wouldn't even trade for him, and he's known for letting plays off, no way he's going to be a Detroit Lion. They don't bring those type of guys in that let off plays. You have to be and I do believe Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, you got to have a certain personality to be in Detroit. And as much as I wanted the Lions to trade for Chase Young, that is not the type of player they're going to bring into this organization. It is just not what they're going to bring in. But I like Chase Young. I know a lot. I would have traded for him, but that's just me. Jack says one of another help secondary is the front line. Yeah, 100%, Jack. Absolutely. And when you have a dominant defensive line, everything else looks good. You guys just got to remember 2014, we had the number 2 ranked defense. That defense was lit, and it was that defensive line, just consistent pass rush that was getting this defense where you have DeAndre Levy getting picks and all sorts of lovely stuff. So, yeah. Nine Drink says restructure Decker and get both. I think they'd probably do it a contract extension, in all honesty. Maybe they do like a 3-year deal or something like that. They can do a situation when it comes to Taylor Decker, and I'm going to assume they bring him back for a couple years. Maybe they don't, but I think it's more likely that he does because he is a captain for this team. Dan Campbell really likes Taylor Decker, and so does everybody else. When you have a player of that caliber that is a leader of men, you can keep him here. And he's a good left tackle. He's not the best left tackle in the world, but he's a damn good one. So, I mean, I'm not upset about it. Let's see. Do you think that Goff is here? Don't be surprised if he traded him. Jared Goff's not getting traded. He's going to be a Detroit Lion. I really hope we pick up cornerback 1 from free agent or trade a scoop Darius Robinson. He could play edge or interior, and he's got a dog to him. Plus, he's a Michigan native. Yeah, everyone likes Darius Robinson. He's an option at 29. There's a lot of good options at that pick. You're going to have 2 probably good edge prospects, not blue chippers, but good prospects. And you're going to have a ton of defensive tackles. And there's a couple guards and corners. So, look, what we need is in this draft. It's great for what we need. There's not great edges, but there's good edges. There's some really good corners. The depth is pretty high. The defensive tackle position is amazing in this year's draft. And the guard position is amazing in this draft. And that's kind of what we need. So I'm happy. Hashtag Lions. Let me get, let's just go ahead and do this here. Because I'm not feeling that great. Let's see. Should we draft an outside linebacker? Maybe in a developmental 6th, 7th round for special teams and or a potential pass rush. Other than that, I think we're pretty good at linebacker. They'll probably bring everybody back, even Michael Pittman. So, it's depending what the strong suit is. I don't care what position they go after when you're talking 6th, 7th round. These are just developmental. All you're trying to do is trying to get a diamond in the rough. So, I'm never going to be opposed to whatever position they go in those rounds. You're just trying to do the best. Come on, hit that like button. What are we, a jury? Yeah, smash that like button. Out trade for Marshon Lattimore and is Jalen Johnson a free agent? Jalen Johnson's got franchise tagged. He's going to be a Chicago Bear. Marshon Lattimore could get traded from the New Orleans Saints to the Detroit Lions. He's a good cornerback as well. I don't think it'd cost as much as Sneed. He's a little bit older. There's familiarity with Aaron Glenn as well as Dan Campbell, New Orleans Saints, so it makes sense from that standpoint. What would it take to get him? Since his contract's pretty high, probably a little bit less. We don't have a 4th-round pick, maybe a 4th-round pick. Dan should switch Decker and Sewell. At some point, you'd think that Sewell will go to the left tackle position. At some point. Let's see. Question is this draft pick going to be able to start or just another Broderick? Well, look. Broderick was a 3rd-round draft pick, so if you're talking about starters, 1st and 2nd round will probably be starters. 1 in the 3rd round will be probably a starter. So you're talking about 3 starters, potentially. Maybe 4, depending. But that's what we got going on for the Lions here. Phil needs as best as we can in free agency. Let Brad cook in the draft. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with allowing them to cook in the draft and do his thing in free agency. Again, I don't expect everybody to big giant names. I just don't expect that, and I hope you guys don't expect that as well. It'll be our own guys. It'll be some other depth players and maybe one big signing or a trade. Signing or trade, that could be one of those things. Wish we had some more information on what's going on with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Yeah, I expect C.J. to not return, and I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I like him as a player. It has nothing to do with him. I think it's more he'll probably get better money somewhere else, and he'll be a starter. Here, he's not guaranteed that, and so I expect him to leave, even though I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I wouldn't mind him coming back, but I expect him to leave. Fully expect that. Oh, my sinuses are going cray-cray. I want to draft a young star offensive lineman with one of our first picks. I think they'll definitely get a guard within the first 3 rounds, I fully expect them to get a guard. I don't think Jonah's coming back. Yes, Taylor, I am going to the draft this year. Yes, myself, Herman Moore. There's going to be a lot of the folks on LNU that's going to be there. We'll be at the draft at different areas. It's going to be really, really fun, and I can't wait to go. I cannot wait to go. Woo! Man, I got sinus issues right now. Love how Brad Holmes drafts. However, we need a starter or 2 in the draft as well. Yep, we're going to get a starter, Lisa. You know this. I think everybody should be very understanding that we're going to get some starters in this year's draft. If you don't trust Brad Holmes by now, I don't know what else the man needs to do. He is general manager of the year. He's executive of the year for a reason. He's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Let's see. Washington wants Jackson. Jonah Jackson, Washington. Yeah, I can see that they want him. What's up, Dern, man? What up, Dern? Washington's got money, too. They got some money, so they can spend over there. I think Brad signs a DB and draft both offensive line and defensive interior. Yeah, I could see the situation like that for sure. I will be going to the draft as well. We have to suit booked at the MGM. We have a suite booked at the MGM. Awesome, Murder. That is going to be awesome. Real awesome. He says, hell no, not for a second rounder. You're talking about Sneed? I don't know what you're talking about. See, I agree. We can't expect Brad to get 4 starters every year. You can't expect that. It's really difficult. And especially with their team is the depth is so much higher than it used to be. But he can. I don't expect it, but he can. That's the thing. I wouldn't expect it either, but he can. It's like the dude knows what he's doing. Yes, I'm on steroids and antibiotics. I'm on antibiotics too. I have an infection in my lungs and my head. Steroids are crazy. Yeah, if you live in Michigan, you know, man, the weather has been crazy. It's been hot, cold. Got to 70 degrees, and the next day it's 30, and so we got a nasty cold that's pretty much hit everybody. And it's my turn. It's my turn. I was staying at my lady friend's house, and their whole family's sick, and I was taking care as best as I could. And then guess what? It's going to happen to me, and that's part of being a part of Michigan. And that's just the way it is. And I got to go watch Kid here right after this a little bit. So I can't wait to just lay on the couch, maybe put on TV and just chill. Chill, man. And excited for that. It's going to be a shorter show today because I'm not feeling great and I got to go watch a kid. So I want to go up there and get some juices and stuff to help this cold out. Lions going to extend or do something with Taylor Decker. 19.1. I think they should extend him. Give him like a 3-year deal. I think that would be nice. In a 3-year deal here. And, Taylor Decker still got some juice left in the tank. And I'd like to see him here for a couple more years. That's my preferred. I don't know anything on this. That's my preferred. So there's no intel or anything. That's why I moved to the woods. I need to move to the woods as well. I'm with you. I'd love to have a big barn. Who should the Lions get to be cornerback number 1? Look, man, it's looking pretty good with L'Jarius Sneed. I think that's a legit rumor, guys. I think it is. I personally haven't heard anything on it, but when there's smoke, there's fire, and I think it's legit. I think it is legit. They're going to get a top corner, whether it be free agency or in a trade. So if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say the Lions will trade for L'Jarius Sneed. That's my bet right now. As a betting man, Lions will trade for him. That's what I'm going with. Not saying it's going to happen. If I'm to bet, I would say 55% Sneed gets traded to the Lions to 45. Would I be upset if he don't? No. Would I be upset if he did? No. Depending on the comp. But I don't think it'd be absurd. Would you trade for Zach Wilson? Absolutely not. Zach Wilson is garbage. He's a terrible quarterback. We got Hendon Hooker, who's already better than Zach Wilson will ever be. Hendon Hooker's our backup quarterback. If you want to get a 3 quarterback, you just find an undrafted guy. Oh, I will. Thank you, my man. Will you take a chance on Simmons? Yes. Would you take a chance on Simmons? What Simmons? Let me know. There's a lot of Simmonses out there. Simmons was released today. What's Simmons? I didn't see it. I'm under the weather, so I haven't been fully on. Let me see if I can find. Saints released. Michael Thomas is going to get released. I wonder if that's an option for Lions if they don't get back Josh Reynolds. Let's see. Do you think the Bears are going quarterback pick number 1? Yeah, I do. I think Justin Fields is going to get traded. I think he's going to be I don't know where he gets traded to, but I'm going to say he does get traded. Oh, Justin Simmons was released? I didn't even see that. Okay. Well, yeah, let me, dang, I didn't even see that. That must have, let me see. Sorry, guys, that I'm a little bit off today, but I'm not feeling the greatest. Oh. Will the Lions get a Justin Simmons? Well, he was released. Probably not. I'm going to say no, but it's interesting that he was released. I didn't even see it. I would say no because he's a safety, but we'll see where he goes. You got to understand, too, we got to watch for some of these players in the NFC North because they need safeties in the NFC North as well. No, it definitely won't break us. We got to the playoffs basically without him anyways, and he didn't do a lot in the playoffs. Let's keep it 100. No cap in here. He didn't do that much. He got an interception off a tip ball, which is great, but I don't think it's going to be much big of a deal unless we get injuries, and that would be an issue, but I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I just don't think he's coming back. Oh, Lotu would be a great pick for the Lions. He won't be there at 29. I actually have a mock draft. I think that came out, or it will be coming out tomorrow. I made it the other day. Lions Nation Unite, and one of them is getting Lotu. But there's no realistic possibility in my eyes. Is he going to be there at 29? You'd have to trade up and get him, and he would be a fit. Yeah. We need Decker. I wish we could keep Jackson too. Ragnow, all these guys, the reason recent success. Yeah. Decker, I don't see him leaving. Probably not even next year. Trade for Sneed or Lattimore and then sign Hunter. I'm with you, Dern. That would be my free. I would be done. Look, if they did that, we're a team that not only going to win the NFC North, would be a scary team, man. We'd be just as scary, in my opinion, than the San Francisco 49ers. And best believe they wouldn't want to face us again. That was the only team I thought that the Detroit Lions, was a little bit worse than, just a tad bit worse, and we almost beat them. It wasn't for the third quarter. So I think if you get upgrade to those players, we win that game. Here's the thing with the free agency. Like I said, I think they make a move for one player. Would it be a Kendall Fuller trade for a Sneed? Or if they decide to go edge rush, one of those guys, and then it's going to be supplemented with our own re-signings. Like they just tendered Brock Wright, so you can see them just kind of re-sign him. They already did that. Shane Zylstra did it with Emmanuel Mosley. Extensions with St. Brown and Aleem McNeil. That's predominantly what's going to be breaking. Graham Glasgow, I think the Lions will probably re-sign him. That's what I see Lions free agency being. Could there be a surprise player? There absolutely could, right? Again, it looked like, what did it say was about to be released today? That could be an option. Man, I'm just completely off. Michael Thomas, he's going to get released. So if the Josh Reynolds doesn't come back to Detroit, maybe they can take a flyer on him for a role like that. Mike, which do you want more, NFC Championship appearance or division title? I want a Super Bowl. I would take the NFC Championship game for sure. We won the NFC North, so we got that monkey off our back. Now I want to make it to a Super Bowl, so it's going to be definitely Super Bowl here. Do we re-sign Peoples-Jones? I would like to. I think he did fine for the Lions when he came in and he was starting to make some noise. So why not? I mean, we talk about number 5 or number 6. Like, it's no, If it's a cheap deal, I have no problem with it at all. I don't. He's not going to get that many targets, so it's, we're talking backups there. What do you want us to do with this first pick? Opposite of what we do in free agency. So, if the Lions were to say they traded for L'Jarius Sneed or they get a Kendall Fuller or any other cornerback or whatever, I want the Lions probably to go edge or DT with 29. And if it's the opposite, I want to go corner at 29. And if they do fill it, then just go BPA at that point. That's what I would like the Detroit Lions to do. I'm absolutely tired of this defense being butt cheeks. So I am, at this point, it's full on, get this thing fixed. The defense needs to be fixed. Write me out. It's like it's got to happen. So I am ready to end the defensive woes for this football team. I think you're all tired of dealing with the defense has been as bad as what it was, is what it is. I would just bring back Reynolds, where he's already familiar with us, and Jared Goff. I'd just bring back Reynolds. He makes a perfect fit. He's a good wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver. Yes, he's probably the reason we didn't make a Super Bowl with his drops, 2 drops that I think would have won it. And that stings. But he's still a good receiver for the Lions. And I bet you if it happened over again, he wouldn't do that again. Good thing is we don't need to win the division to get a Super Bowl, just a ring. Hey, man, we just want, I don't care how we get to a Super Bowl, just get to a Super Bowl. Would I like home field advantage? Yeah. Number 1 seed? Yeah. But we came so close. What we need to give up in order to trade up for Jared Verse? Probably have to give up, probably have to give up probably next year's first round pick to jump up to a top 10. From 29, you'd probably have to give up next year's first round pick, and I don't think that's something I'm even wanting to do. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if that's something I'd want to do, to give up another first round pick. I think that's what it'd take. And you're going from 29 to within the 10, because he's going to be, in my opinion, he's probably a top 10 pick. So you'd have to give up a lot, and I don't think it's worth it. I really don't. That'd be a shame to give up a future first round pick when we need to keep these picks. That's how you make your team good consistently, is you're drafting players whom you have players that leave in free agency and just redraft them. You got to be a good drafter. You're always staying young. You're always fiscally responsible, and the team's always going to be good. So that's the route I would go. Mike G, what's up, man? What's up, brother? I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing good, brother. Darn fan of Keon Coleman. You got to pay attention to darn fan of. He was the biggest fan of Amon-Ra St. Brown. That was definitely a good one. Folks, I've been on for 30 minutes, and I am not feeling good at all. I'm under the weather, so I'm going to call it a day, and I got to go watch some kids, and I'm going to lay down while I watch those kids. So everybody have a great weekend. Rest up if you're sick like me. And if not, Monday, free agency starts, folks. Free agency starts. I'm going to be live on the Huge Show 3 to 6 Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So if you want to hear live, go to the Huge Show. It's ESPN Radio. I'm doing the free agency forum. So I am doing free agency forum, so I'll be on my channel, and I'll be on the Huge Show live when it happens. So whenever it happens, it's going to happen. I may even know before some of the people know, because Chat Sports, they send me the information as soon as they get it. That's what they do. And so shout out to them for helping me out. With that said, folks, adios, guys.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of